Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report, and today's show is presented by our awesome sponsor, Panda Supps. We're going to keep the code FKC because I just hate the Chiefs that much. 30% off at pandasupps.com by using code FKC. Some of the best workout supplements out there. Protein, they just launched some new nootropics. We got BCAs if you're wondering how I'm not super hungover today, because as soon as I went home yesterday after a crazy Monday night show, took some BCAs and feeling a lot better. So what we're talking about here are the latest Raiders trade rumors, because the NFL trade deadline is on November 1st. And there was an article written by NFL insider Jeremy Fowler titled NFL Trade Deadline 2022 Early Buzz, Rumors, Teams That Could Make a Deal. Well, one of the teams that Fowler wrote about and some of the players that he talked about were two dudes that the Raiders took in the first round back in 2019, and they were Johnathan Abram and they were Clelin Ferrell. So I saw that out there. I'm like, all right, this is the type of article where Fowler, when you look at a lot of the things that he said, it's not him just like guessing. It's him saying the Raiders have been shopping these two players. Now, I'll talk about those guys in a sec, but here's how the article started off here. Over the final 10 days before last year's deadline, 10 teams consummated a total of 9 deals. Most of the moves involve back-end roster players or marginal starters over late-round picks, but one big splash got everyone's attention. The Los Angeles Rams shipping 2 day 2 picks to the Denver Broncos for the rights to Von Miller, a Super Bowl catalyst. Teams are seeing that you can have success if you play the market right. The appetite will be there. We are becoming a better trade deadline league. And I 100% agree with that. I know when I first started covering the NFL here at Chat Sports, big-time trades, like, they didn't happen. And now, definitely most recently, you're seeing big-time players go here. Another player is going to go there. They're moving them around left and right. And I do think that a trade's going to go down. I don't know if it's going to involve the Raiders. I do think if it involves the Raiders, it's going to be around one of these two players right here. Clelin Ferrell, who the Raiders drafted number 4 overall in 2019. And then Johnathan Abram, who the Raiders drafted that year 27 overall. Both of these players have had their 5th-year option already declined. So there's a lot of reasons why a trade would make sense. This is what Fowler had to say, though, on the Raiders trade market right now. Speaking of Ziegler, it's no secret he has worked to shed players from the Mike Mayock regime. A few players to watch are a pair of 2019 first-rounders, defensive lineman Clelin Ferrell, and safety Johnathan Abram. I'm told Vegas has had talks with teams on both players in recent months, with Abram's name circulating a lot. Last week against the Chiefs, Abram played 54 snaps compared to 69 apiece for safeties Deron Harmon and Trevon Merrick. So there you're just already seeing Fowler simply say, hey, he's losing snaps to some other players out there. Fowler also noted that one NFL executive said the Raiders are trying to start new with players who fit their personality. I mean, a lot of times when you get a brand new head coach, you get a brand new regime. Think about how many times we've said they're going to try to put players around this brand new regime. So the fact that an NFL executive said that, I would look at all you and say, well, yeah, no shit. But when you talk about these two players right here, Clelin Ferrell and Johnathan Abram, who do you think is more likely to be traded? If you believe it's Cle, I want you to spam 99 right now down in the comments. If you think it's Johnathan Abram, I want you to type 24. Now, I might go with a little bit of a different opinion on this, but you know what? I do want to be able to sit up here, break it all down for you guys, and I can give you my answer, but I do want to give a major shout out to today's sponsor, Panda Supps. I love these guys. They do a lot of amazing things for Raider Nation, and they did just release some brand new BCAs. Now, if you've never had BCAs from Panda Supps, I'm telling you guys right now, you got to get your hands on it. So listen to this. Panda Focus is the most effective nootropic supplement on the market. Most versatile brain fuel product designed for anyone looking to increase their focus, productivity, energy, mood, and vision. Panda Focus can be used as an energy drink replacement, coffee, or to spark a motivation. Panda Focus enables you to unlock your full potential and give you a competitive advantage no matter if you're a student, professional athlete, CEO, or a gamer. I love this stuff. I try to take some of this every single day if I'm at work, and I'm like, all right, I am hitting that 2, 3 o'clock crash. Take some nootropics. It is fuel for your mind. It's going to wake you up. I always say it's kind of like a legal Adderall, if I'm being honest. PandaSubs.com, code FKC for 30% off. So here's what I believe in terms of the better market, in my opinion. I know what Fowler said, that Abram's been getting a lot more attention. I'm not saying that Clelin Ferrell is a better player than Johnathan Abram. I'm simply just saying I believe Ferrell is going to have a better chance of getting traded because of the position he plays. The NFL always looks for edge rushers. And I know Ferrell hasn't done much on the edge and hasn't gotten to the quarterback often. There's going to be an NFL coach out there. There's going to be a GM that's like, you know what? This guy was a number 5, a top 5 pick. We can get something out of him. And for that reason, I believe Clelin Ferrell has a better chance of getting dealt than Abram. I'm not saying that both of them can't happen, but when you look at the numbers here, Ferrell's been better than Abram this year. 96 snaps, overall PFF grade of a 67.6, a run defense grade of 68.7, a pass rush grade of 62.8. When you look at Ferrell's snap counts this season, Week 1, he played in 28% of the snaps, 19 total. Week 2, all right, a little bit of a bump up there, 23, 26%. Week 3, 45%. Week 4, in a win, 21, 40% of the snaps. And this past week against the Chiefs, or 2 weeks ago, 24 snaps, 33%. The reason why I'm showing you snap counts is a lot of times teams can show you what they're going to do or how much they want to use a player based on snap counts. So then when you talk about Johnathan Abram, I understand that he has once played a lot of snaps. The issue is this. When he's on the field, the Raiders are liable at certain positions in terms of getting beaten coverage. He's done a good job, I think, being able to get after the quarterback. He's looked halfway decent as a box safety. The issue is not many teams want a safety that can't cover. That's a problem. And when you look at his PFF numbers this season, a 47.6 overall grade, a run defense grade of 45.3, pass rush, it's good, at 67.9, a coverage grade of 48.5. When I look at snap counts here for Abram, they are starting to go down. And I think it's just simply because the Raiders know when he's out there, it's a liability. When you look at the stats last season even, the Raiders had a better defense when Abram wasn't out there in the field. I love the spark he brings. I love the energy he brings to the defense. But in today's NFL, if you can't cover, it's really hard to continue to get out there. And as you can see, his snaps are trending in the wrong direction in terms of overall percentages. So how much can you get for Clelin Ferrell? How much could you get for Abram? I'd sit up here right now, and if somebody was like, hey, Mitch, you just traded away Clelin Ferrell for a 6th-round pick. Hey, Mitch, you just traded away Johnathan Abram for a 6th-round pick. I'd be jumping for joy. I don't even know if you get a 6th-round pick. I don't think that you do. And when I say that out loud, considering the fact of how bad, and I mean how bad the Raiders' first-rounders have been over the past few years, it's just a huge, huge just gut punch, man. That's literally all it is. Coming up next here on the Raiders Report, more Raiders trade rumors. We're going to talk about more stuff that was in that Jeremy Fowler article in terms of what the Raiders could be looking for. Could they be potentially going out and trading for other players? I know that the Silver and Black, from what it sounds like, according to rumors out there already, are going to be looking at defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback with the latest Nate Hobbs news. But you know what? Fowler is kind of sitting up here saying if there is certain teams to always look for, I always tell you, if the Raiders are going to pull off a trade, a lot of the times it's going to happen with connections. The teams I tell you, the Texans, the Titans, and then, of course, like Fowler says here, the New England Patriots. The Las Vegas Raiders are always one to watch with New England deals since general manager Dave Ziegler, a former Bill Belichick lieutenant, has executed multiple trades with the Patriots since taking over Vegas in January, including one for offensive tackle Justin Herron last month. And I agree with this. I'm not sitting up here saying that I want the Raiders to make a move. In fact, the player that they were talking about in that paragraph, if you will, where they were talking about New England, was wide receiver Kendrick Bourne. I don't really think that the Raiders need to add another receiver. The Raiders need to add some defensive players. So when I think of, all right, some of the top cornerbacks out there on the trade block, when I look at the latest news, rumors, all that kind of good stuff, it's these 3 players right here. William Jackson for the Washington Commanders, Sidney Jones from the Seattle Seahawks, and the Panthers' C.J. Henderson. Carolina's in full sale mode. And I believe you can get C.J. Henderson right now for a pretty cheap price. But if you can get your hands on William Jackson, sounds kind of weird saying that out loud, but you know what? William Jackson is the most talented one out of this bunch right here. Now, again, I think when you look at trades and you're at the NFL trade deadline, you have to think about buy low. I am all about buying low. And for Carolina that already fired their head coach, they already traded away Robbie Anderson. There's been multiple players now linked to trades because this team knows that they're not going to win now, and they're going to try to build for the future. If I'm the Raiders, I call Carolina and I just say, hey, who's available? How much do you want for him? And could you potentially get a steal? Carolina's the team that I'm calling right now if I'm the silver and black. So what do you think, y'all? A lot of trade rumors there early on here on today's show. I want you to name a player that you believe that the Raiders should trade for. And usually teams that are trading are teams that think that they can win. The Raiders are 1-4 right now. If the NFL draft were to start today, the silver and black would have the number 2 overall pick, behind only Carolina. Usually losing teams don't make deals. Here's the thing, though. The Raiders are favored in 11 out of their next 12 games. This is a team that believes that they can win, and it's a team that I'm hoping goes out and makes a move. The player I would love for them to trade for, William Jackson, and then another guy that I know I've brought up multiple times in the show, Daron Payne from the Washington Commanders. Let's get both of them. Bring them both in. I would love to get both those players on the Raiders.